All right. I am live, and it is the 28th of March. Can you believe it? I know. I'm here by myself with my little friends. I don't know if you can see them. See them behind there? Yeah. One of my friends knows that I love bears, and she sent me these really sweet bears. I really like them. They're really cute. One's purple, and one's I think a rabbit that's white. That's good. Anyway, it's Friday night, and it's 11 o'clock, so that's my new schedule, Midnight with Magoo, with kind of 11 to 12. Maybe I didn't make that clear, but anyway, hopefully some of you will come on. And in the meantime, let me think. Not really sure. Is this something that I wanted to read to you? No. Not it. I could show you some of this. This is What is Scientology, What They Say Now. And this was in, hey, hi, Danny. Hey, there you are. You're on. All right, good. Then I won't read you that. Good. How are you? Good to see you. I'm happy you're alive and well and here. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. All right, good. Well, we're here, Danny. All right, and somebody else just popped on. Never in Aaron. All right. Pretty good. What about you? I'm good. I'm having a good time. I'm really happy because it's warming up. And when it was so cold, I just didn't want to protest at all. But now it's getting warmer and I'll be out there. Hopefully you guys will come up sometimes and protest with us. That'd be fun. But I've been doing good. We watched what did we watch? I went over to Spanky's tonight and we watched Bill Maher and the Shark Tank. And Bill Maher is a riot. He really is. He's very funny. But that's what I've been doing. What have you been doing? Hi. Is it Tiffany? Hey, hi. Blessings. Thank you. Same to you. Right back at you. It's Friday, so it's the beginning of the weekend. And I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it in case you guys missed it. I used to I love the weekends, but by Sunday, I would already start mourning that I had to go back to work, right? And I would just be like bummed out. And so this went on for years, working nonstop. Exactly. That's what I did. Same kind of thing. And I would think, it's Sunday. And really, one day it took me forever, like maybe until I was in my, hey, Sophie, hi, good evening. It took me forever to realize that I was kind of blowing all of Sunday, which is part of the weekend, worrying about Monday. So instead, I just embraced Monday, thinking Monday's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And Monday, yeah, you're going back to work, but that's once you're done with Monday, then you only have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So anyway, it's kind of a cool thing to do. It's really different. It's just a matter of changing, how you view something. It is kind of amazing how once you change something, it's like, oh yeah, so that's a good thing we could all work on with each other. If I see it this way and you see it that way, let's talk about it. Like, how could you look at it this way and how could I look at it that way? That's a good thing. Sophie, so for you, it's already Saturday, I believe, right? It's amazing, the world time. Daniel, hi there. Never and Aaron, good to see you. It's good to see you too, Sophie. Thank you for coming on. So tonight here in Los Angeles, it's Friday night. It's still Friday night. In a little bit, in an hour, it'll be Saturday for us. And I think for Sophie, it's already Saturday. Am I right, Am I right, Sophie? Is that correct? Okay, so hello, chat. Oh, I am who you say I am. I like that. Hi, Tiffany. Love that. Stay at home, mom. So weekends never mattered. I was still on call as a mom. I know, as a mom, that's 24/7. That's all there is to it. It's Saturday in an hour here. Yeah, same here. It'll be Saturday in an hour here. So we must be in the same time zone. Absolutely, Tiffany. I know. I love being a stay-at-home mom. I really did. It was my favorite of all the quote unquote jobs I had, which I don't really consider a mom being a job. But if I mean, it's a lot of work, but it's wonderful work, and I loved it. I really loved it. I stayed home with my son and taught him at home for the first 5 years of his life. So that was really cool. I made books for him. It was really fun. We had a great time. It's the best. It is. It really is. Jamie, all right, from El Bay. Hey, but having the days off on weekdays is better than weekends off because you're off on weekends. It's hard to get things done because everybody else is off. Interesting. I don't see it that way, but I get you. I don't know. I can always get stuff done. Even when I was working all the time, I still love the weekends. For me, they're just a good time. Okay, Sophie. Yes, I love being a mom too. Children are the best. They are. They really are. And it's interesting to see people who haven't had kids, especially men who haven't had kids. I know, I think 2 or 3 who they were kind of grouchy, very serious, and then they had a child, and it was just like night and day difference. It's like, wow. It's really wonderful to see. Okay, now pardon me because I'm having a hard time reading this. Being off on Wednesdays is better because you can take care of business and run errands. Everybody else is at work and in school. That's true. That is true. But I still love the weekends. You won't talk me out of that one. Hey, no one, how are you? How's everything going with all of you? Can you see my little bears in the back? I know this little circle thing moves. It's really weird. Hey, Rochelle, how are you? Thanks for coming by, all of you. I appreciate it. It's good to see you guys, especially on Friday night. I like it. I worked weekends for almost 20 years on and off. I love having weekends off now, but having days off in the week is also good. It is. Yeah, I agree. Good here, some pain as the weather changes. Ah, and it's probably warming up though, right? See, for me, I love it when it warms up. We have daylight savings time, so now the days are longer and it's brighter, and it's just sort of, it's my time of the year. This is my favorite time of the year. It's springtime and fall. Those 2 times. I grew up in Chicago where winter is super cold, super cold. I mean, just freezing cold. And then summer is really boiling hot with humidity. So, and I don't like humidity. Same as Clearwater. Clearwater has really bad humidity. Tori, what did you think about the birthing in the sea work? Fall is my favorite. Yeah, me too. I love fall too. That's a good question. Hi, Eric. Hello. Hello from Culver City, California. I'm going to tell you about it because I'm sort of like moving up, like what happened to me. Like I got in Scientology, I did the communication course. Then I think I did the ups and downs. They had that back then, which is sort of their new, now they have the PTSSP course. But back then it was just called ups and downs, meaning, people that were up and people that were down. And, they kind of went into suppression and stuff like that. But anyway, I did that course and I went there to be a Dianetic auditor. So they put me on the Dianetics course. I mean, I had to pay for it, but I went, did the course, and then I did the internship, and then I became an auditor. So I was really excited about being an auditor for me, and I was only like 22 at the time. And I just thought, this is fantastic. I'll be able to help people. This will be really great. And sure enough, I was at ASHO, which is a higher org, in the triangle. Like a lot of people start at the mission, which is way down here. And then there's class 4 orgs. And then there's class 5 orgs. And I think even ASHO might be a class 6 org. So it's kind of up there. And so they wanted me to join the Sea Org. That's what they said. They came and they said, you would be perfect for the Sea Org. And here's the bonus. You can audit all your life. That's what you can do. That's all we need is auditors on the ship. And I went, okay, I'll do it. So then they give you this billion-year contract. And in the contract, I mean, the main thing that I remember the most, because it was so freaky, it was like you had to write every single sexual act that you've ever had, with who, how you had it, how long. It was like really weird. I thought, this is sort of perverted. You know what I mean? To me, it just seemed really weird that they would ask something like that. But they did, and I wrote it out. So now I'm in a Sea Org. No, wait a second. Hi, Jamie. He said, oh, you're talking to Sophie. Okay. I'm trying not to, if people are talking to other people, Sophie and I talked about it, and it's like I'm not supposed to answer those things. But Sophie, you highlighted if it's something that's interesting that I should talk about. Okay. All right. So, so you have to do what's called the EPF. I think it's the EPF. Anyway, it's a thing where you have to do staff status 1 and 2, which are like basically training to be in the Sea Org. So I do the training, and then they send me out onto this ship out in LA Harbor. It's a really rank old ship, right? So we didn't really have berthing. Do you see what I mean? I never was in the Sea Org long enough to have berthing. I mean, I don't even remember where we slept on the ship. I mean, I'm sure we had like bunk beds kind of thing, but I wasn't on there long. And then, and we were going around LA Harbor and stuff like that. And the only thing I remember about it, and I've told this before, but all the oil leaked out of the ship one night. And we got up the next day, and the Coast Guard were there right away. And they were like, all right, that's it. Either you guys get all this up, or it's going to be $40,000. And this was in 1972, right? $40,000 was a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money anyway for 22-year-olds, but in 1972, it was a lot of money. And we were like, we're going to get screwed by Hubbard. And so luckily, this kid happened to be in part of our little Sea Org group, and he worked on a farm. And he said, if we can get hay, and we can get we've got rowboats, so we can get the hay and row around with the rowboats and, kind of put it in the water, and that'll soak up the oil, and then we can put it in the rowboats and row it back to land, right? And that's what we did. We got the whole thing up. And that's a big quote of the Sea Org, is we made it go right? And so now this Coast Guard come at 4 p.m. That's when they said, we'll be here to get the money. And we had all the oil up. So they're like, they go all the way around the ship, and they're like, what did you do? And we're like, we made it go right. We're Scientologists, which is why everybody hates Scientologists, because they're very, they say stuff like that, which is just so stupid. But anyway, we did. And then I ran out of my medicine, which I've told you guys. So I had to go to the MLO. They said, you can't be in the Sea Org and be on medicine. So we're routing you out. And here's your program. You're going to take vitamins and Dianetics, and that's going to handle it, which it didn't. It was a nightmare. And anyway, my mother ended up saving my life, but I never went back to the Sea Org. So I never really had birthing like you're thinking of it. I did go see some of my friends that were in the Sea Org, and they all had these little tiny rooms. Well, they weren't really, like really tiny, but they were pretty small. And all of them had different creations in it. But the one I remember, they built a 2-story, like a bunk bed, kind of like a bunk bed, but the bottom wasn't a bed. It was just a living room. They made it into a living room den, and then the top they slept in, and that was their thing. But it was different for everyone. I know it wasn't good for most of them. They didn't think so, but I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway, so now I was out of the Sea Org, and that's what happened. I wasn't in it for very long. But why did I join it? Because I wanted to audit, and I wanted to help people. And they were like, that's all you're going to do. You just join the Sea Org, and you can just help us help people. I was like, well, that's cool. Now, you didn't know back then that they were lying to their teeth. And see, the Sea Org never hardly ever get auditing. They only get SEC checking, which is, what are your crimes? What are your overheads? What did you do? What do you have against the Sea Org or whatever? They're always paranoid and worrying and thinking the FBI is here or whatever. So, I don't know that they really do. I mean, I audited the Sea Org because I knew they didn't. And so whenever I'd be on an internship, I'd get the Sea Org staff and audit them because I wanted them to get some auditing. But I never got to do it in the Sea Org. I just did it as someone on an internship. Now, wait, let me look at this. Okay, so Sophie's saying hi to everybody. Hi, Jamie. It's a hot summer and long, cold winter. It was cold here, too. I'm glad the winter is long gone. Me, too. Amen. Oh, God, is that the truth? All right, now, your gut was correct. Those questions are weird. Yeah, totally. I mean, it was like, what kind of people are these? It was very strange for me. Hiya, Tori. I had a great conversation with Wise Beard Man and Erica. Recent arrest. Oh, yeah. I think I saw a little bit of that. I've got to watch that. That's good. Cool. Hi, Windy City Thetan Watch. I like that nickname, too. That's a good name. Okay, good. I'm glad you had a good talk with them. States Project Force, the EPF. That's right. Thank you. Yeah. So that just has to do, estates just has to do with, like the building and the cleaning of the building and the grounds and stuff like that. The comment, wow, they made you write down all your sexual experiences and desires. They didn't ask for desires. It was just what you did. They wanted to know what you did and how you did it. Do you hear other people's ones as well? No, each person is, it's very private, but it's still awkward because you don't know where it's going. Do you know what I mean? It's like, who's reading this? And to this day, I still think it's gross. No one, oh my God. Windy City Thetan Watch. No one, miss chatting with you. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad he's back on, or he or she. I don't know if no one is a girl or a god. I'm bad at that. I really am. Please put question or comment. Thank you, Sophie. Sophie, I filled out the questionnaires at 15. Really? Well, you wouldn't have too much sex at 15, right? I would think that wouldn't be. I mean, I had it at 22. I had a lot. I did. It seemed super weird to me. It was. You too, Wendy. All right. So good morning, Tori. Hi, Hans. Welcome. God bless Mama Tori, who insisted she get real treatment. Yeah, my mom and my grandfather. I know my grandfather was a doctor, and I'm sure he heard what was going on and said, no, we got to handle this. And I mean, she came in like, a ton of bricks. It was great. I can't believe that Erica was arrested. Wow. She's so sweet and peaceful and was doing nothing wrong. That's so stupid. What would they arrest her for? I've got to go and listen to that. Yeah, mine was 3 bunks high. Yeah, the birthing to me was kind of a shock. Yeah. I think it is for a lot of people. I know a girl not recently, but like a year or 2 ago who joined the Sea Org. And, they had just blown smoke up her ass on how, oh, no, no, they don't have they don't have bunk beds anymore. You'll have your own apartment. And I was like, yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And it's like she does have a room with 2 other rooms, but they're little tiny rooms and a bed, kind of thing. So I don't know that they're doing the bunk beds anymore, but if anybody knows, let me know. That paranoia was passed into the ESO staff from Hubbard himself. Yeah, I think so too. Question: why don't the CEO get a lot of auditing? Time. They're a slave. It's basically a slave camp. That's what the Sea Org is. And that's my opinion of it, based on my experience and the people that I know who were in it, and things I've read. That's how I see it. It's like they make it sound fantastic. So it's like you don't see it as a slave camp. You see it as the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics, right? And so, and if anybody doesn't know what dynamics are, let me know and I'll tell you. But it's just how you survive, and so whatever's the greatest good is what's the best. And they have that, it's part of the brainwashing, right? So whatever they're saying that you need to do, most of the time you don't, but it's work. They make them work. And it's just another way of controlling people. That's my opinion. But I think it's pretty true. So they don't get auditing, because if they got auditing, this is again my opinion, but if they got much auditing, they'd probably leave. I think. I don't know, but I think so. I mean, I think part of it is because they need them to work, and they have to be on post and then work. Those are their 2 things. Somewhere in there, they're supposed to squeeze in auditing, but A, they don't have that many auditors to audit the Sea Org, and B, they don't have that much time to get auditing because they're on their post in the day, or whatever their hours are, they're on their post, and then the extra time they're working. And so that's what I think. So they don't get it. But they've had amazing promises, like, if you guys do blah, if you get the org to be St. Hill size, everyone will get their entire bridge. Well, that was a flat out lie. And for anybody listening, that was a flat out lie. So why are you still staying? That was a flat out lie that never happened. It still hasn't happened. And most of the people listening to this know it's true. And if you're in and you're public, just know the way out is the nearest door. Just open the door and walk out. There's nothing they can do. Nothing. And I know I say it a lot, but I think it's very important, because if one person hears it and goes, you know what, I am going to walk out the door, do it. Call me up. It's like, honestly, I'll come get you. Call your family, call your friends. It doesn't matter. There's tons of stuff to do. There's thousands of us that have left, and left successfully. I mean, some of us have had pretty wild stories, but we made it. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Okay, so the lady you guys are talking about, Sophie, is an amazing person. Windy City Thetan Watch said she believes in Clearwater and only wants the city to emerge. Really loved our chat tonight. Oh, God. I'm glad I wasn't on it. I was fighting them in 79. It's been a big fight with the city against Scientology. And I can't believe they've bought all those buildings and stuff now. Okay. Okay, Mark Bunker. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sophie. We had lunch last year. All right, good. Now, when you say we, no one, do you mean you and me or you and Bunker? You have to kind of clarify because I'm not sure because they're talking about Mark. Hey, one a witness, Vernon, Jehovah's Witnesses. Good. Hi, Tori. Hello. Have you met Aaron Smith Levin? Of course. Are you friends with him? I can't say as we're really close friends, but I'm friends with him. I mean, I know him, and I protested with him. I think last year he came here to LA and we had a protest. And I'm friends with Jenna. I mean, I'm friends with them, but it's from a distance. You know what I mean? I don't really get to see them much. There's Aaron's video about Erica. Okay, good. And Sophie is Tori. They arrested Erica for not giving her surname and for standing on a road. She was in a place that they protested in all the time. Yeah, they're very weird the way they do stuff like that. I told you when I left, this is in 2000, I went across the street from LMT, Lisa McPherson Trust, into a restaurant. And the owner came up and she said, "We're not serving you." And I said, "You know what? That's based on I left Scientology." And she said, "That's correct." And I said, "Well, that's against the law. So you call the police, ma'am, because I'm going to have a seat and I'm going to eat here." And all the waiters came over and said, "Thank you so much. She is such a witch." They were really happy. They said, "We'll feed you. We'll give you something, iced tea." They were really great. It was really fun. That happened to me more than one place in Clearwater. It was really weird. Windy City Thetan, watch Tori Magoo 44. In my opinion, Erica's incident was just to discover her name. Oh, highly likely the charges will be dropped, but we can't undo that her identity was revealed. Okay, I mean, this is my opinion, but it's like, okay, they know your identity. Scientology is just trying to scare people. That's all. If you go ahead, do it. Make my day. They're not going to do it. It's only if you're scared. It's just like bullies. Like I told you when that guy said, "I'm a sex maniac," and he was going to rape me, right? And I'd been hitchhiking, and I just went, "Far out, so am I." And the guy just caved in. I mean, it was the weirdest thing. And I looked him up later, and he's in the what is it called? Where they kill people. He's one of those real weirdos. So it could have been bad, but anyway, I had just done that drill in Scientology. So there's some things that work, you know what I mean? And that was one of them where it worked for me. It was a thing on if you can make a perfect duplicate of something, it'll go away. Like no two things can be in the same place. So that's why when he said that, at first I thought, oh no, everyone was saying to me, it was in the 60s, at the late 60s, and they were all saying, "You can't keep hitchhiking, Tori, you're going to get raped." And so I would always check the guys out and they seemed cool. And I got in and he seemed very cool all the way home till we got near my house. And that's when he just flipped out. And I just, at first I thought, "You're going to get raped." I heard these 100 people saying that to me. And I thought, no, I'm not. And then I remembered my drill. If you can make a perfect duplicate of something, it'll go away. And that's when I just slammed my hand on his shoulder and went, "Far out, so am I." And he just caved in. It was so funny. He goes, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "Oh, you guys always say you're sex maniacs." I didn't say this, but I kind of put that out there like, "Oh, you always say you're sex maniacs and you never come through." And I said, "I live right up the street." And the guy drove me right up to my door, right up to where I lived. I went inside and cried and cried and cried. I mean, I was like really scared, but anyway, I made it through it. That's usually what I do. When you get married, you get a small room. Usually, that's right, with shared bathrooms after being on a waiting list. That's right. Yeah. I think most of my friends got married for that reason, so they could have a room. I'm sorry to laugh, but now it's funny. It wasn't funny then. Comment, is it because the Sea Org work and deliver Scientology, not do it as such? Okay, I'm going to read that again, Sophie. Comment, is it because, that's actually a question, I think. Is it because the Sea Org work and deliver Scientology, not do it as such? You have to reword it. I don't quite understand what you're asking me, or if anybody else understands it. I don't. Yes, I think so. You're right, Tori. Thank you, no one. All right. Now, never in Aaron. Thank you for the hearts, for posting sweet hearts. That's always nice. Bless you for telling the truth. Thank you. Yeah, I try to, because in a way, I feel like, I should just shut up. Everybody's heard everything I've said, and I've said it 1,000 times. I've been speaking out for 24 years. But you know what? Someone just the other day wrote me and said, please keep speaking out. Please keep making your videos. I almost joined the Sea Org, and I found your videos, and they really helped me. And so I thought, well, that's how I started speaking out. I thought, if I can help one person not get suckered into this whole big mess, it's worth it. It's worth whatever fair game they're going to do. You know what I mean? And they've done a lot of shit to me. They have. I should probably do a whole video just on the different fair game things that they've done. But anyway, no one. You and me and an old friend relative last year, Tori. Oh, good. It's just relating the name to the person. No worries. I know if I saw you, I would go, oh, yeah, I remember it. I'm really bad at names. Even if you had John Smith or something, I would still be like, who's John Smith? Until I hang out with someone for a while, then I know him. Okay, Sophie. That sounds horrible. I can't believe how the Sea Org treated when they are the most dedicated members. It's part of the drill. You don't know that when you go in. You don't know that. That's why I joined. I thought, okay, I can be an auditor. Was I going to be an auditor? Probably never. You know what I mean? But that they promised that, and when you first get in, they're the most ethical people on the planet. You think, of course, they're not going to lie to me. Wrong. But you don't know about the abusive side of them when you get in. That's why I always tell people, if they're going to join the Sea Org, I talk to them. I really do, because it's hard to get out. Once you get in, it's like the Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't check out. All right. Now, once a witness, Vernon. Question. All right. Tori, do you think DOA will win his case in court? Hey, babe, I have no idea. I'm not on that whole chain, so I don't know, but I hope he gets an attorney, because I don't think it's going to be a good idea. I know he's won sometimes by himself. He has. But I think at this point he should get an attorney. I do. That's just my own opinion. It doesn't make much sense, does it, Sophie? Yeah. Wendy CD Dayton, watch Tori Magoo 44 correct. Who cares if someone knows who you are, but it's still a solid score tactic that chills a person's ability to protest. Well, it only chills it if you let it. Do you see what I mean? It's like they really are their thing is scare people, get them in fear, so they won't protest. See? It's like, wait a minute, we have your name. Look out for us. I used to go in to get a job, and I would go like this. Let me ask you something before we get started in this interview. How do you feel about free speech? And every boss would go, "Oh, I'm totally for free speech." And I'd say, "Okay, good. Then we're going to get along." Because I knew they would Google my name and find, here I am, this activist against this organization. But if they're for free speech, I can always bring them back to it and go, "Wait a minute, pal. You told me you're for free speech. So let's talk about that. You can't say, no, I'm not going to hire you because you're an activist." No. And it never happened. Everybody hired me. So anyway, it didn't work for them. It worked for me, but it was better to just put the cards on the table. You know what I mean? It's like, and ask them, how do you feel about free speech? Because that's one of the reasons people are worried about their name being out there is either family or their jobs. And family, I understand, and that's the thing you have to decide if you want to do it or not. If you don't do it. But if it's something that you can work around or you can help educate your kids while you're doing it, good, that's cool. But if it's going to be bad, don't do it. So that's up to you. That's a very personal thing. And work, do what I did. If you have to, if it comes up, just say, can I ask you something? I had this one boss that I originally asked that to. Somebody called me and they wanted to interview me. And I said, okay, but I don't really have a place. And so I asked my boss, I said, could I do this interview in your office? And he goes, yeah, sure. I mean, I always tell people, I'm an ex-Scientologist and I do these interviews and, I let people know. So then I don't have to be worried about them telling somebody. It's like, hey, they know. Everybody knows. You know what I mean? And I told my neighbors, and a lot of people have helped me because of that. So I said, can I do it in your office? And he goes, yeah, sure. And so he's in there like dusting around his office. This is a young guy, he's like 35 or something, which to me was young. And he's like dusting around his office and dusting around and dusting around. And I realized he's not leaving. You know what I mean? It's getting really close to the time to do the interview. And I said, did you want to sit in on this interview? And he goes, yeah. I said, okay, have a seat. We'll do the interview. So I did the interview and it turned out he knew some big stuff about Scientology that he had never told me. And he shared it with me afterwards. Small world, really is. All right, so let me see. Then you got what you deserve. Okay, when you protest with respect, without vandalism and aggression, without breaking laws, and you are arrested like Erica, that's an injustice. When you repeatedly threaten, vandalize, and waste city resources, well, that's a different thing. But she didn't do that, and I'm just saying, it's kind of like if you're going to protest with Scientology, you have to know they're going to do stuff like that. That's just what they do. It's called fair game. You can lie, cheat, steal, destroy someone utterly. Now, have they destroyed anybody utterly? Not really. Most of their stuff is like gaslighting kind of stuff, where if you put your shoes on the right side of your porch, one day you'll come home and they'll be on the left. And you'll be like, why are my shoes on the left side of my porch? Bingo. That's it. All right. But it's just sort of stupid stuff. And it is really stupid stuff, also, if you're listening, because it just makes all of us keep wanting to keep doing it. I've been like, all right, I'm done many, many times. And then they do shit. And I'm like, okay, I'm back. What do you know? Then you get what you deserve. Okay, certainly playing Russian roulette, but I get it. I'm a wild child too. Good. There you go. Wow, what a story. The adventures we had though. Yeah, true, no one. How long were you in for, no one? Then you're likely to get prosecuted for something. Well, if you vandalize, but that's not really protesting. That's a different thing. And so I don't try to put those in the same category because they really aren't. Okay, Sophie, sorry, Tori, rewording question. do you think the Sea Org are there to deliver Scientology and therefore have no time for auditing themselves? Yeah, yeah, that's a big part of it. Just like I said, I was joining to be an auditor, right? And if I was auditing all day, I wouldn't care. That's what I wanted to do. Do you see what I mean? Now, they're not all, every post that they do is what they want to do. There's a lot of things in Scientology that are really crummy and creepy. And, people have told those stories. But yeah, I think that's a part of it. And then the other part of it is you have to work. Hubbard was really big on that's their exchange, right? For their bunk bed and their food. They have to work. They have to be on post and then they have to work too. So, and it's just a way, he didn't want people to wake up. I think he probably figured if they got OT, and remember, I think he believed in OT. And if they got OT, they'd probably find out who he was and what he was doing and leave. Question. When you left Scientology, did you move to Burbank with your son or did you live in another city here in California? Well, when I first left, Eric, my friends Stacy, Bob, and Jesse Prince had started the Lisa McPherson Trust in honor of her, who died in Clearwater at the hands of Scientology. So they started the Lisa McPherson Trust in honor of her, and they were helping people get out. So they helped me come to Clearwater, and I went to Clearwater, stayed there for a month, and then I came home. And I was here, and I think my son was in college when I first came back. And then he got an apartment of his own, and it was kind of like I've always seen him every 2 weeks. That's my thing, is that I wanted to make sure to see him. So I do. I'm going to take him out for dinner tomorrow night. It's just one of those things that I love spending some time with him. And I also know how creepy they are. And so it's just what I did. But I've lived here in Burbank, I think since 1982. Excuse me, in this same house. It was supposed to just be a cruise in, stay in this house, and then buy a house. And a lot of our friends lived in these little houses. It's kind of a small house, 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath, a kitchen, a dining room, a living room, backyard, front yard, but relatively small home. But my husband wanted to buy a big house, and our friends did. And they moved right near Celebrity Center, up in the hills, bought a huge house. And my girlfriend came to me and said, do not move. Your rent is so low now. And ours is astronomical because we bought a house. And so now we have this huge mortgage. And then Scientology slips in and goes, oh, give us the money. And I forget how it works, but somehow they ended up, basically Scientology owns the house, I think. It may be just because they kept refinancing it to get more auditing. But she said, don't move. And we never did. And then I woke up in 2000. And so that was the end of that. And that's a whole different story. All right. So alligators. All right. But anyway, thank you, Eric, for that. Hi, Tori in chat. Hi, alligators. That's funny. Hi, Allie. Good to see you. Sophie, question. Tori, can you tell us when you realized that Scientology was censoring free speech and you started to get free? I think I've told the story many, many times, but I was out and there's videos of me protesting, or they were protesting, and I was out trying to handle them, and Bunker's there, and my husband was there, and my ex-husband now. But, I would be sent out to try to handle these critics. And they would all be like screaming at me and screaming at me and screaming at me. And it was just one of those things where I just put up like this plexiglass, and so it would just bounce off of me. I would never hear it. I didn't hear a thing they said. But finally, that one guy, and I know I've told you guys this, but the guy came up to me and said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, and he asked me it in a really nice way, and he meant it. He really wanted to know the answer. And I said, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "If you're free, why can't you read certain books?" Because we couldn't read the 3 main books that were out. There were only 3 books that were anti-Scientology, and we weren't allowed to read them. I mean, it's like they don't say it that way because, of course, everybody's like, "Well, I would never go along with that," and neither would we. But it's just sort of, it was so looked down on, like they were liars and they were just making up all this stuff, and you don't want to get into it because you'll just get all snarled up and end up in ethics and that. And so it was just sort of like, all right, forget it, I won't. So I said, I can, I just don't want to. He said, okay. And he kind of acknowledged me, which is tier 2. So I thought, okay, you got it. And he went away, and then he came back again, and he said, okay, I just want to ask you again, if you're free, why can't you read certain books? And it just kept hitting me. You know what I mean? It was like he was so nice, and he really meant it. And I finally came home that night, and I had a poster of Dalmatians, which are black and white dogs. And they were all black and white, and one had a pink collar. And it said underneath it in pink, "Dare to be different." And I laid on my bed, and I thought, you know what? I'm about as different as a rock. So that was the beginning of my waking up. It really took many, that was in the 90s, and I didn't wake up until 2000. So it was really probably seeing the really darker side of Scientology when they turned on me. That's probably when I really, when I didn't get into Scientology for this. No, I know what it was. I wasn't looking on the internet because my auditor who had gotten me into all this scared me to death. And he said, look, don't look on the internet. We've had people go insane that did that. And I knew people who'd killed themselves and this and that. And I thought, okay, I'm not looking. So I wasn't. But then they started acting more and more mafia-like. And I talked to someone yesterday who knew the other side of me. And I said, you're the first person ever that's told me they know that side of it. I just couldn't thank her enough. It was like so great to talk to someone who knew the other side of, the OSA thing. Because I just knew Yachty, who was my auditor. But, once they started acting really mafia-like, I went and looked. I thought, Tori, you've got to go look and see what they're doing on the internet. And I looked, and the internet back then was all linear. It was a news group. It wasn't websites and stuff like that. It was just one news group, Alt Religion Scientology. And I pulled it up, and it was all baking recipes. Thank God that day, because I just went, oh my God. And it was like how to bake German chocolate cake and how to make cupcakes and cookies and this and that. And in between were people that were saying, I didn't say that. Scientology is changing my words. And I'm a free speech advocate. And I thought, oh my God, they're using these accounts that I'm opening to stop free speech. And that was it for me. That was really the big it for me. I wasn't totally done, but that was a big wake up. And I called Yachty and I said, I can't do this anymore, Bill. I have to go back to work. He said, okay, fine. Just meet us at this address in Glendale, which is, a couple miles away, at 6:00. And I said, okay, and I trusted him implicitly. He was my auditor. And he was also a really good friend, I thought. And so I went there to this apartment. And I think I've told you guys this, but if anybody's here that didn't hear it, I'll tell it anyway. I went to this apartment. They were all big men that I knew that used to go, Tori, hi. And they'd give me a big hug. Now they're all sitting there kind of in the semi-dark. The sun was going down and they didn't really have it well lit. And they were like, hello, hello, hello. And I'm like, okay, this is a little weird. I'm the only woman. It's all men. And Bill is not here, who is my auditor who got me into this, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, something is not smelling right here. And all of a sudden, bam, the door slams open and it's Gavino who ran it from OSA Int. And this lady yesterday knew him, and Bill. And Gavino is saying to Bill, I warned you about her. I warned you about her. And I look at my auditor and best friend back then and go, he warned you about what? I knew it had to do with epilepsy. You know, it was like, oh, she's PTS, blah, blah, blah. You know, I knew it did. It always did for years and years and years. It was always their justification of anything. So anyway, I went and talked to them for probably an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and they just pounded me. Like, what are you going to say? And honestly, when I went into this meeting, I was not going to say a word, not a word about any of this, nothing. I mean, I really wasn't. But by the end of the meeting, I mean, the meeting never ended. I burst out crying and ran out. And Bill came running after me. And I said, get away from me, get away from me. And I just jumped in my car and I drove home and I was just crying and crying and crying. But that was like really the beginning. It was still the beginning of me waking up. I then spent 4 weeks. No, I spent 2 weeks. I don't know if it was 2 or 4 weeks. I think it was 4 weeks on ARS, making the most insane posts all day, all night. You know, just because my theory was this. They were like cowboys. You know, they could say what they wanted. They could do what they wanted. They could go where they wanted. They, you know, OT7s, you can't do anything. You can't talk to anybody. You can't look at anything. It's all controlled. And I thought, I'm going to just put myself in their space and someone's going to help me. And I just was there every day, you know, making these stupid posts. I mean, just insane. Like Phil Scott's going to Hawaii. We have to do a fundraiser to get flippers for Phil Scott. Because I couldn't read ARS and talk to them because I was too afraid of what Bill had said about going insane and stuff. So I was just making these bullshit posts, hoping someone would help me. And Andreas did. So that was it. Really, when Andreas said, what kind of friends could those be if they're going to change you because you change your mind? And that was it. That was the final straw where I just went, he's right. They're not my friends. So there you go, Sophie. Wendy, I'll catch your replay. I always try to watch, but schedules are different now. Okay, now, once a witness, Vernon. Okay, question. Did your mom meet LRH? My mom? My mom was not in Scientology. My mom was against Scientology. What would you think of him and his awful teeth? Oh, when I got in Scientology, they had us go watch these old movies that he'd made. And he's in a cape and he's got this really hokey chair, you know, with L. Ron Hubbard director and all this stuff. And I remember watching the movie and thinking, dear God, please don't let my parents ever see these movies. Because I knew if they saw those movies, they would come get me. They would. And back then I wanted to stay in. So, you know, I was just like, oh, I hope they don't ever see these. No, my mom never did. My husband, my ex-husband, but his mother and father were in from 1950 and loved Hubbard. They thought he was the bee's knees. So there you go. And what would she think of him and his awful teeth? She would not have liked him at all. Not even for a minute. No one. Tori, question. Do you think Jesse will ever do another interview? I'd love to get in touch. He helped me at the Int base and knew my family. Cool. Well, I will write that down. I'm in touch with Jesse, so I'll see if he will. I know he's kind of overdoing, he's kind of over Scientology, and he's mainly working with his family. He has wonderful children and grandchildren, and, he's kind of concentrating on that. But I'll see if he will. He might. So I'll ask him. Sophie, that's so cool. Your boss wanted to stay and listen. I know, wasn't that fun? It was so cute, especially seeing him like dusting away and, cleaning things. And, he just wouldn't leave. And it was just sort of like, I finally got, wait a minute, this guy wants to hear the interview. And he knew this guy that went to prison. I forget his name. I'm bad with these things, but he was the guy that ripped everybody off. He was like, give me $50,000 and then I'll 3X it at Flag. And if anybody remembers his name, put his name down there. But anyway, he knew his son and he went out to lunch with his son. So he wanted to tell me that. It was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Because that guy went to prison. He's out of prison now. I can't remember his name. But anyway, what happened was one guy who was a millionaire and not a Scientologist gave him $1 million. And he said, after a little while, he said, I want to get my $1 million back. And it was just like the entire thing collapsed in everything. It was like, forget it, because he kept spending all the money. He wasn't really investing it. I know, it was cool. I love that too. Thanks, Tori. You are so wise. I love you, Sophie. You're an amazing angel. I always tell her that. She really is. Good morning. Hi, Heart Healer 44. No one. I was raised in Chicago too. I was brought in by a parent and joined the Sea Org for about 6 years. But 1 year at INT is timeless and could have been 3. Ooh. What part of Chicago were you in? I was in Park Ridge and Lake Forest. Were you anywhere near there? Okay, so Heart Healer 44, Sophie says hi. Everyone's saying hi. The Antics of Mama Squirrel. Hey, hi, welcome. Did you get your email? No, I didn't. Did you send it to Tori Christman 44 at gmail.com? Not Tori Magoo, because I won't get it at Tori Magoo. But no, I didn't get it. So can you resend it and to Tori Christman? I'm going to show you it again, just in case. Ooh, wait, here it is. I think this is it. There you go, Tori Christman 44. Just remember, Christ man. There you go. Are you still doing a clip for me, Wendy? Oh, cool. And alligators. Tori, you have the best genetics. You look the same in the videos, just more glowing now. Thank you. That's my mom and dad, man. I was blessed with wonderful parents. They were really cool. Unfortunately, my dad died very young, and my mom ended up marrying a con man, so that was a whole nother disaster. But I had I always say it's like a house with the best foundation you could have. That's how my childhood was. It was just, for me, it was just fabulous. But then, there you go. There's the bears. But, or it's a rabbit and a bear. But the house is a little bit, because of my mom and being with this con man and stuff. It's great seeing you today. Thank you, Antics. Okay, alligators. Tori. Oh, thank you. You already said that. Tori is a beauty. Thank you. I appreciate that. My mother would love it. She would be like, yay. She'd be so happy. That meeting where all the men were questioning you sounds really wrong and totally would have made you question what was happening. I mean, that was the end of it for me. That was really the night I left, was that night. Oh yeah, I forgot to take off my email thing. Wait, hang on. That was really the night that I left. It took me a little bit longer to actually fully, meet Andreas and wake up. But that night with them throwing me under the bus, that was it. It was like, come on. All of a sudden I go from being like the greatest thing on earth to, some evil person that they're sure I'm going to ruin the church. It's like, now I probably have done a lot of damage to the Church of Scientology. And you know what? It's okay, Scientology, because you have made me into an activist and you have kept me by doing your little fair game shit and have all your lies up on the internet about me. That's why I'm here tonight. And these people are wonderful people. They're very, very good people. And the fact that you think you're in the best thing on earth, you're not. You're in a fucking Truman Show that you can't get out. You can't. You can't get out. See the door? You could walk out of that door, but you can't because you're brainwashed. That's what's happening. And because of the mind control, you can't leave. But here's the truth. You can. All you have to do is walk over to the door, open the door, and walk out. The only thing I'd say is if you have stuff that you want, get it and bring it with you because you're not coming back. Believe me, once you meet all of us, you will not be going back. All right, gator, alligators. I love that. Delight. All right. She married a con man. Men like that are always looking for women to prey on. Yeah, because her husband died. And, he had a lot of money and, the guy was a scam artist and she fell for it. He brought her a rose every day. And right away we were like, uh-oh, this sounds weird. When they got married, this is how bad it was. His kids, he had 5 kids. They all flew in and they said, watch out for our dad because he took our mother for everything and left her nothing. And that's exactly what this guy did to my mom and turned her into an alcoholic too. It was really awful. They went from being millionaires to completely broke. And it was just like he died, left her $100. That was it in an envelope. It was awful. But at least we got in touch before she died. That was the good thing, was that I got to tell her the good things that she'd done. And she got to tell me the things that she liked. She had 2 things that she felt Scientology helped me with. One was getting me off drugs, which I really wasn't on drugs. I wasn't like a druggie, but I was a social drug person doing drugs up in Haight-Ashbury. But if I'd continued with it, I might have turned into a druggie. I don't think so, but I might have. But anyway, she thought that was it. And then the other thing was she felt that that's true. That was my win in what is Scientology. I got back in touch with my parents, because they were really big on, if you have upset with them, fix it. And for the people that are out there who are listening, Mother's Day is coming up and don't stay disconnected from your mother. And you know who you are, and I know who you are. So call your mother before Mother's Day or on Mother's Day. It's a big deal for moms. It is. Okay, so having issues with errors, anyone? Connie B, I don't know what you mean by errors. Oh, no. Okay, we already did that. Alligator, sorry. Which Kate? I'm confused. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. That's what I said with Sophie. Okay, now wait. Okay, so... Okay. Antics of Mama Squirrel. I resent the email, but the address I had was correct. The only difference was the capital letter. So I tried that, but I don't think that changes anything. Okay, well, I will look afterwards and look. Does it say Antics of Mama Squirrel or another name? Because it's tricky for me. A lot of times people say, I'll send you something, but then it's on a whole different name. And, so anyway, you have to maybe put from YouTube. You know what I mean? So at least I'll know. Sophie says, yes, Tori, thank you for all the hearts. Tori, the CIA operative, according to OSA, that is correct. That is very correct. Hang on, stand by. There you go. There you go. FBI, CIA. Unbelievable they did that, isn't it? That they told him, don't talk to Tori. She's a deep cover, undercover CIA agent. I love that hat. Now look at all of this. This was a little bit later. Right now, I was in the Sea Org, and then now I'm routed out of the Sea Org. I'm trying to move you up, up the line, but I'm just gonna kind of go back and forth because I want to tell you certain things, but I don't want to do it all in sequential because it's too boring. So this is a thing that happened when we got in 1979. We moved to Clearwater, and they had this big honk out Scientology, save sparkling Clearwater, stamp out Scientology, and all this stuff. So they told me, Milt Wolf called me into an office and said, you have to handle this, Tori. And I did. Don't ask me, but I did. I talked to person after person, went to meetings, everything else. But this is how much money they gave me. They paid me this because I did such a good job. They didn't say they were going to pay me, but they did. Now let's see if you can see it. Wait, let's see. See, there it is. It's 29,000. Let's see, this is the Church of Scientology. See? It's $29,959.51 in training awards. So it was something that I could do training with, which cost money, but I didn't want to do it. I just felt, I knew I was leaving. I don't know how, but I did. Oh, wait, Antic said something. You people are neglecting the like button. Go show it some love, please, for Tori. Thank you, Antics of a Mama Squirrel. Thank you very much. You know it's bad when his own kids warn him about it. Amen. But she still married him. Wow. So his own children tried to warn her. No, they warned us. They didn't warn her. You know, it's like people are crazy in that area. And if they're in love, you can't go up and say, look, you know, this guy's a con man. They don't want to hear it. Do you know what I mean? So they told us to try to warn her. But, you know, there was no warning her. She was going to marry him. And, you know, he was an editor of Look magazine. So he sounded like, you know, he was an okay guy. He looked a lot like Gavino, ironically. He was very Italian, but, you know, kind of mafia-like, you know, kind of weird. He was a weird guy. And you know what was funny? I think I can tell it now. But Bob Minton, you know, multimillionaire, and he talks to this guy because we went down to see him. And he's talking to him, and the guy's like, yeah, well, I believe in, you know, helping people and all this stuff. Bob is saying that. And my mother's husband says, are you fucking nuts? You're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on this stupid Church of Scientology. Do you realize that you could just pay someone in the mafia and they would handle this for you for like $10,000? And at the time, I mean, I laughed. I thought it was funny. I didn't think he was serious, but later I realized he was serious. You know what I mean? It was like, oh my God, unbelievable. So that's what I mean. He was kind of a mafia-like guy. Purple Groovy, I was thinking that exact same thing. Good to see you too. Okay, Purple Groovy 69. Hey there. You got to make what Tori just said, a short video that she just said was awesome. What did I say? Oh, shoot. What did I just say? Because I said too many things. I don't know. You have to let me know. Just Purple Groovy 69, just put it in one sentence, like what it was about. Lurking in the background, supposed to be on a break. You don't see me here. Hey, hi. I do see you, and I see all your goody things that you gave me. She was so kind to me when I first became live stream. She sent me, someone said, put up a Amazon gift wish list. And I said, nobody's going to send me anything from a wish list. And they said, yeah, Jessica said it. She said, yeah, they will. And so did DOA. He was here, and Laura. Yeah. And so they said, yeah, no, put it up. They will. And mostly Jessica, she was like, put it up. And so I thought, all right. And they kind of helped me figure out some things that I needed. And so I put it up. And Casey, I think I came home one night and it was like the best Christmas I've ever had in my life. It was like my whole front porch, which isn't that big, but it was still piles of stuff. And I was with Jay at the time and we were like, oh my God, it was so fun. It was so sweet of you. I really can't thank you enough. I mean, I think about you all the time and I want to tell you, thank you, Casey Knight. Unbelievable. Really cool. So I'm glad you're lurking in the background and I hope you heard that. Connie, when I type something, it'll say error. Try again. Don't know what is up. That's odd. Is anybody else having that problem? Sometimes it doesn't and sometimes it's fine. I'm going to go out and come back and see if it makes a difference. Okay, is anybody else having that problem? All right, okay. We'll see if it's better. I think a lot of people with the Sea Org join the Sea Org with that same intention. They have the intention to help people. And that's really what it is. They're not joining to be slaves. Do you know what I mean? They don't know that that's part of it. They're joining to help people. And it's sort of like, at first, I mean, I can't really speak for them because I was only in it for a short time. But I always thought it was, you get to help people, flat out. But I didn't know it was all this other stuff that they do that's like not good at all. So anyway, but we're all friends. A lot of us are still friends. Sophie's laughing. Okay, it's antics. All right, antics. Antics of a mama squirrel. Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know that. See, because that's what I'm talking about. People say, okay, I'll send you an email. And then I think, I don't see anything with the name that they said of mama squirrel. Okay, all right, good. Okay, email. And the other thing is I want to try to figure out, hi, Chad, hi, Tori, hey, June, welcome, alligators. I would love to see Tori, the party girl. I can imagine it. You can't. I just told Sophie some of it yesterday, and she was like, oh, my God. Yeah, go out and restart. By the way, I have seizure disorder too. Cool. I haven't had a seizure in 30 years because I take medicine for it. Do you take medicine and it helps? I hope so. I know you are on your job. You wrench swinger? Okay, a wrench swinger. That's funny. Tori, did you see Mark's video about the protest arrest? No, I didn't. I haven't yet. But I will. Arrow 23, I've seen warnings in games about seizure. Yeah, because of all the blinking lights. So seizure disorders are common enough to have their own in-game warning. You kind of have to because the real flashy lights can, like if you ever go to the movies with me on the previews in the beginning, they have a lot of flashing lights. And you'll always see me like this. And I'm just like that through the whole thing until it's done. Not that I don't think I would ever have a seizure with it, but I'm not going to test it. So that's where it's at. I just do what I can to help Tori. Yeah, you definitely do, you rascal. I linked Mark's video earlier. Tori saw a bit, but we'll watch later. Cool. I'm still waking up, going over the news. Ooh, okay. No problem. Sophie says it's totally outrageous. Yeah, it is outrageous that she was arrested. I mean, that's ridiculous. That is insane. When you think about it, she should sue the city. You know what? I mean, not really, because Scientology, then you're suing Scientology and they have endless money and forget it. But that is really gross. What you should do though is go to the media and tell them about it. Just say, look, I want to talk to someone about this. Tori is so cool and very interesting. Thank you, Sophie. I feel like you're the same, and a bunch of these guys are too. All right. Antics of Mama Squirrel. Flashing lights get me, but I don't have grand mal. They are much milder. Oh, that's nice. Well, I don't either, because I haven't for 30 years because I take medicine for it. But those were awful when they were. Erica knows her rights, and the police hate that. Good. Hi, 49ers for life. The charges will be dropped, as the other police who came acknowledged that people could stand where she was standing. Yeah. Honeybee, sadly, people here in the USA are being taken off the streets to be deported. Yeah, when they have permission to be here, really? The scariest thing I've heard, my son told me, is that now at LAX, our big airport, they're checking your phone to see if you have anything against who. It's like, oh my God. Did you know any of LRH's children? I did. Yeah, I knew Suzette. Arthur is the person who, basically helped me go clear in one lunch. It was kind of amazing. But I knew Arthur, I knew Suzette, and I knew Diana. I worked for Diana for a while. So, yeah, I knew their kids. They're good kids. Suzette used to live here in Burbank, so we'd run into her all the time. She's fun. I liked her. I really liked her a lot. He who shan't be named. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if it is named on your phone, not good. Question. Were you ever arrested when you were protesting Scientology? No. But I never do shit. It's like we used to go down to this Shrine Auditorium for every one of their events. And we had one guy that would always come with us. Now they told us we had to be on this side of the street, right? They were on this side of the street. Let's say the shrine's on this side. So this one guy that would come would always stay on that side of the street. And they would say, we have a permit. You have to go over on that side of the street. And he wouldn't. And then finally the police car would come. They'd put him in the police car and take him down to the station. And then he would call me later and he'd say, see, I won. I went down there and they were wrong. They couldn't prove that I couldn't walk there. And I said, listen to me carefully. You did not win. The only people who won there is the Church of Scientology, because all they need is a photograph of you getting arrested. And then they bring that photograph to the big bucks and say, you have to donate because of these people doing this. See how she's getting arrested or he's getting arrested? Anyway, he would do it every single time. Every single time. And it was, I didn't think it was smart, and neither did Mark, and neither did other people, but he did it, and he was persistent at it. So no, I never got arrested. I mean, I'd walk up, like one time there was a police lady there, and I walked up to her and I said, "Okay, what are the rules?" And she said, "Pardon me?" And I said, "What are the rules?" And she said, "Do you realize in the entire time I've been a police woman, I have never had anyone ever ask me that question?" And I said, "Well, I know these guys. I was in it for 30 years. I know the drill. So you tell me what I got to do." She said, "Well, you have to be on that side of the street, over there, across the street," which we realized was better anyway, because people would drive up the street, and they were already brainwashed to don't look at any protest signs on this side, by the shrine. But we were across the street, and they'd all be like, "Who are those guys? What are they saying?" Very funny. Question: was Quentin really gay? Yes. Per people, what they've told me. I didn't know Quentin. Janice Gillum has said she doesn't believe it. Quentin may have had a girlfriend. The people I knew said, yeah, he was for sure. And anyway, but he's not here to defend himself either way, so I'm just going to stay out of it. But as far as I knew from other stories, from other people, he was. But is that true or not? I can't say for sure. Okay, alligators. Erica has been protesting for the past 15 months at the same spot. The street is closed. It's for pedestrians only. She doesn't stream, but she always has her body cam on her. Yeah, okay. And does she have a sign? Does she bring a sign with her? How old is Jane Fonda? She gets arrested on a regular basis for protesting. You go, Jane. Yeah. It's just not my thing. I know I've listened to her and I think it's great. I really do. It's just not, I don't have the money to handle, my life, and other things that I need to handle to be arrested. She does. So good for her. It's a long story. Okay. Maybe we can talk sometime and you can tell me then. Okay. So the restrictions were advantageous since more people would have seen the signs. Now, are you talking to me about me at the shrine or about something else? In that case, people can be bisexual also. True. Sophie, oh boy, Sophie was a naughty girl. What did you do to get arrested? Eric. I don't think Sophie was arrested. Did she say she was arrested? It's not that uncommon for gay men to marry a woman. It depends on how hard the pressure is. Yeah, if you saw Brokeback Mountain, that really explains it. I met that whole cast and the directors at the Aero Theater, and the audience was mostly all gay men, and they were in tears. They were just like, this is the first time someone has told our story. And these were older men who, years ago had to get married and had to have children, and then had to, on the sly, meet some man that they wanted to be with. It was heavy. Okay. Sophie, tell the short story. Okay. Eric, it was a mistake. I don't have any criminal records. I'm actually really a good girl. That's what I thought. I didn't think you've been arrested. Yeah, Hans, I think that is fine as long as the woman knows that he's gay. Okay. Most of the time, gaydar goes off, so you know, but sometimes you can't tell. I love Brokeback Mountain. Me too. It was really an honor to get to meet all the staff and the guy that died. He was there too then. Off to sleep. Thank you, Sophie, Tori, and Chad. Good night, Antics of Mama Squirrel. I will look for your YouTube message. I mean, your email. I would look for it. It's a story for another time. In person, I'm open to telling it. Good night, Mama. Yeah, Eric, protests Scientology. You can see her on the Clearwater Cruise streamers. Ooh. Once a witness, Vernon. Wow, thank you. You became a member. Cool. Oh, wait a second. Why did it stay up there? There you go. There you go. Cool. Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. That's the other thing. I've got to witness Vernon. Once a witness Vernon. Cool. All right. Eric left. All right. Wait. Ouch. Oh. Ah. I don't think Eric left. Did Eric leave? Okay. I have a hard time believing that she did not know he was cross-dressing. I don't know who you're talking about. Do have a channel. Okay. It's just all silly stuff. Oh, you do. Question. Do you think getting arrested at a protest could be a good thing? It just depends on, what your intentions are. Me personally, in 2025, for Scientology, no. It's a big win for them. It's not a big win for us. And for Scientologists who see that, they're just like, see, we told you they're really evil people. Now they're getting arrested. End of story. So no, I don't think so. I think for other activist things, it may be, and again, it depends on the person and what your intentions are. But I don't think so for Scientology. I really don't, because just like I said, that guy, he thought it was a good thing, but I tried to explain to him, they're using the photograph of you getting arrested. I mean, yeah, you went down there and they let you go, but they don't know that. The Scientologists will never see that end of it. They just see you getting arrested, and they get the photograph, and everybody's got to donate because these are evil people and the police are proving it. It's okay. I can't believe that Chris had no idea. Hey, he might have really, I think he played it pretty well as a guy for a long while. Mama Squirrel, good night. Oh, she's saying good night? All right, good night. Good night. Make sure to hit the like button. I have a hard time believing that she did not know he was cross-dressing. Okay, I already did these. Comment. You are wonderful. I hope you live to be 100. Wow, that's a long time. All right. Well, thank you. And Sophie, 49ers fan, I think I forgot to say hi earlier. I don't look down at folks who get arrested for standing up for their beliefs, as long as they're not violent when they are protesting. Yeah, I mean, it's up to the person. If they're comfortable with it, that's fine. I'm just saying, for me, having worked with the Office of Special Affairs, I know the stuff they're looking for, and that's high up there. Wait a second, who is this? Ah, thank you. Roar, you rat, you snuck in here. Have a coffee on me. Thank you. I will. Thank you very much. I'm trying to put this so it goes on the thing, but it won't. All right. Thank you, Roar. You crack me up, Roar. He gave me $13.99. Thank you so much. Very nice. I will have a coffee on you. Okay, you're still here. I was saying goodnight. That's what I thought, Eric. I do protest videos and puppet skits about Scientology mostly, and some live streaming. Good. That's nice. I like that with puppets. That would be fun. Talking about Kris Kardashian and Bruce Jenner. Right. I will look up your channel. Yeah, me too. All right, 49ers for life, Connie B. I agree. I respect people who stand up for their rights as long as they're following what's legit. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I agree completely, it's like everyone that, but I do think, see, we have the right to protest per the Constitution. So I hold them accountable for that. Like, I remember once I was with Anonymous, and this Sea Org, and I was filming, and this Sea Org girl came out, and she came running out, and she goes, "You can't take a picture of me. Stop that. Put it down." And I said, "Well, let's go ask the policeman." And we went over, and I said, "Officer, I'm filming her. I'm on a public sidewalk, a street. What's the deal?" And he looked at her and he said, "If you don't want to be filmed, go inside." And I thought, right on. So I try to work with them rather than against them, because, I just do. That's my thing. But everybody has their way of doing things. And it's like, I'm for anybody who stands up and takes a stand, however you do it, as long as it's legal and you're not hurting other people, with it. And I also don't like screaming. For protesting, I really don't like screaming. Oh, Karor, you're so cute. So cute. Eric, Tori is the Betty White of Scientology of our lifetime. She's your YouTube grandma. So many people have told me that. And, it's funny, when I first met the live streamers, Jessica and, Chris and different people, Danny, and I was saying, you guys could be my children. And then later I really started figuring out the math, and I realized, no, wait a minute, these kids aren't going to be my children. They'd be my grandchildren. It's really weird. It is. So I am more like a grandmother. That's okay. Roar, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I want to do a video for you. I need to think it out for a bit. Okay, cool. Sophie, it depends with being arrested protesting. Not every country has your First Amendment protection. So in that case, being arrested is definitely going to happen. Yeah, that's true. And Gurroar says, "Hi, Connie. Just so you know, I don't have an issue with any of it. Let your freak flag fly. My daughter is gay and very proud of her." Oh, yeah, I don't have an issue. Some of my really dear friends are gay. I don't have an issue with that. And I don't even look at them as freaks. They're wonderful people. Good for you. Good for you. So, but I did love seeing the old, because I'm 77, so I was their age or older, and I never knew a gay person when I grew up at all, and they were saying that it's like it was very in the closet back in the day. This was 50s, 60s, kind of thing. And they all had to get married, all of them, and they had kids and everything else. It just wasn't, it's so much better now. It really is, because people are free to be, as they are. Hey, Tori, I used to be Marcy. All right. Relevant Queen. Cool. Thanks for coming by. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Once a Witness Vernon question, do you think the anti-Scientology movement lost a huge ally with Mike Rinder's death? Oh, yeah, for sure. I think with any of the activists, when they pass away, like we had a dear friend, Doug, who passed away, and Andreas and Mark Plummer, and every activist who passes away, it's a loss for us. And definitely Mike, because he had a lot of knowledge and was really cool, and he'll be missed. He will. But we're lucky we have as much of him as we have online. That's the good thing about stuff being online, because it's like anybody can see it, probably forever. Connie B, I just found out that the Starbucks mermaid's name is Siren. My daughter has worked for them for over a decade, and she said the name the other day. Learn something new every day. Wow, I didn't even know they had a mermaid. I didn't. It's probably on every cup, right? And I just never realized it's a mermaid. That's really funny. Yeah, I didn't know that either. And her name is Siren. Okay. Well, you learn something every day. I honestly did not know that. Now I will really definitely. I just bought some Starbucks last night, so I'm going to go look after this and see if they have a mermaid on it. Question from Gurroar. Did you ever watch the Reckless Ben documentary? I think I did. No, wait. I either did or I couldn't find it. Reckless Ben documentary. I know. I remember what it was. I couldn't find it. It's like, can you send me the link to it? Because I remember looking, and it was just a bunch of shorts, and it wasn't like I couldn't find the documentary. And so, no, I didn't see it, but I went there. I definitely looked for it. But can you send me the link to the documentary itself? And you have my email, right? ToriChristman44@gmail.com. All right. Yeah, because I want to see it. Reckless Ben. Yeah. We pay our taxes for the cops to break the law. The cops work for us. True. I don't like but I just try to work with them. You know what I mean? I get it. I mean, a lot of people really don't like the cops. But the guys here in Burbank have been great. They have really helped me out. Scientology's tried to fuck me over more than once. And I call the police, and they come over, and they have helped me. I mean, they put my name and phone number up on a porn site and had these porn guys calling me. It was scary, but luckily I had these computer geek friends, and they knew, they said, get a URL. And I got the URL. I brought it over to them. And there was this guy, Truth Seeker, who'd been writing lies about me for years. I mean, it was like day, night, weekend for years. And they said, you're not going to believe it, but For a Good Time Tori, which was the title of my ad, For a Good Time Call Tori is the exact same computer as Truth Seeker. It's the same address. So it was like, wow. So then I said, then what? What do I do now? And they said, call the police. It's a federal crime. So I called the Burbank police. They were here in a minute. They made out a police report. I said, what are we going to do with this? They showed me exactly where to put it, and that guy vanished forever. I mean, there's a new guy, someone mentioned it to me yesterday, named Truth Seeker, a new person. But it's not this guy, and he's not writing lies and lies and lies. So it's a different Truth Seeker. But anyway, that was kind of neat. Okay, Reckless Ben's documentary on Scientology. Okay. And I know. I do think I poked around on it, but it wasn't anything where I could find it. Sophie, happy to be a member. Yeah, congratulations. Thank you. I have to ask the members. And Sophie, you got to help me with this. We got to figure out a special thing to do for the members. Something fun. If any of you guys have any ideas of what you want, send me an email. Put YouTube member, and then tell me. She is so funny. If a customer is rude to her, she gives them decaf. That sounds like me. I'd like her. Oh my, I just noticed the pink hair. Love, love, love it. Is this girl roar? It isn't pink. It's purple. You have to get it straight. I'm a purple girl. But thank you. I know it might look pink on your computer, but it's actually purple if you see it in person. Okay. 49ers for life. Now all the live streamers are enemies and all the groups have formed, LOL. It's so crazy. Really? I kind of stay out of it. That's why I don't really follow it. And I watch Bunker and, a couple people. Jessica, I always watch Jessica because she cracks me up. But all the war things, I stay out of them. It's because I know who is winning on it, and I know who's stirring the pot on it. And you're never going to win on it. I've told you that for 24 years. We've had many protests here in New Zealand where people were arrested for peacefully protesting. Wow, we're allowed to protest, but they can say no at any time. It's not the same as the U.S. Wow, that's intense. That is very intense. That's the other thing. Anybody here, if you're in the U.S., we have a thing called the photographer's rights. And it really spells out you have a right to photograph. And, that's why, like if they say don't use megaphones. I remember Arnie, and I've told this before, but he took a big protest sign and rolled it up. So it was like a big megaphone, but it wasn't electric. So they couldn't arrest him. And we went over to flag and we were like, Scientology, you're cold. We were like yelling over the thing. It was really funny. It was really funny. I miss Arnie. I do. Oh, that's too bad, Sophie. Live streaming you guys seem so peaceful. It just seems like so weird that they would arrest you for peacefully protesting. Live streaming such a cool way to connect with you. Seriously, makes my day whenever I catch it. Thank you, Guru. I feel the same. I'm really happy when you guys come. It's like, yes, they came. Paul Bergeson. All right. Good morning from Agadir, Morocco. Wow, that sounds cool. Ooh, doesn't that sound sexy? Agadir, Morocco. Wow, very cool. Well, welcome. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I think you might have already, but if you haven't, please do. I think my cousin is gay. We were very close growing up, but he never came out, and we just did not talk about it. He has a lot of gay friends and is 66 and never been married. He's the smartest of us all. Well, he might be, he might not. He just might be, someone who's happy by himself. I I know more than one person who's that way, where they're by themselves and they're not married. That doesn't mean they're gay. Me being one of them, not married, not gay, but I was married for 26 years. My dad is bi. I grew up around many gay people. Cool. That's cool, Sophie. Did Andreas from Xenu.net pass away? He did. I'm sorry to say that, Arrow 23. What happened was he had a tumor in his brain. And he called me and he said, yeah, I've got 2 years to live. And I was so sad. I started crying. I was just like really bummed out. And he said, no, don't be bummed out. No, no, no. I'm a lucky guy. And I said, you're a lucky guy? I thought only Andreas would have a tumor in his brain, 2 years to live, and say, I'm a lucky guy. And he said, I am. I've lived a great life. I'm happy and I'm okay to move on. And I thought, he's a wonderful person. He really is. Doug Kramer, that's right, was the best. And he admired and loved you so much, Tori. Gervar. I know he was one of the people that I was mentioning, Doug, but I couldn't remember his last name. Doug Kramer. That is correct. He was a very cool person. And luckily, his videos, for anybody interested, they're still up. And I don't know if there's tons of them, but there's some. And he kicked ass. He really did. I know it was fun. I think I was the first person he talked to when he left. And I don't know. I was so proud of him that he left. And I'm hoping they have a big party if they pass away, they move on to the other side. I'm hoping that's the way it is. And we get to all see each other. Except sadly, about 3 years ago, Connie said we had a fight and we have not spoken. I tried to call him to apologize again, and he would not pick up. I quit calling because it was hurting my heart when he did not. Well, you could try the thing, Dynetics 55. I'll tell you, I used it with someone and it worked. It really did. It's just the thing Hubbard talks about, something like that, where it's like a mother and a father and their daughter, and the daughter was out of touch with them. And he said, look, just stop talking about Scientology and just call them once a week and talk about good roads, fair weather, the beach, where you went, ask them about their life, that kind of thing. And he said, just do it every week and it'll just build up. And it did. And they finally became really good friends again. And that happened with me with a friend of mine. So I know you can do it. And the other thing is you can send, I think it's your son, right? Connie, you can, whoever it is, that person, you can send them cards, you can send them candy, you can send them a little bear. You know what I mean? Like a little fun bear. You never know what's going to touch someone's heart. You just don't know. But don't give up on it. That's the way, because your heart, I would put money on it. Your heart is still hurting that you guys don't get to talk. So I think if it's worth the energy, and just know he might not talk and he might not talk and he might not talk, but one day, boom, he will. And that's my hope, that he picks up. But I'd do the thing, send him a card, send him some stuff that he likes, leave him some messages, and just keep it very light, not like heavy, and don't make him wrong for not answering. It's just sort of like, hey, it's a new day. I'm not going to live forever. I just want to talk to you. I miss you. I don't know how old you are. You might be really young and you will live forever, but it's a good way to kind of get people to think, yeah, maybe I should talk to her. Sending some hearts for the amazing activists who are no longer with us. So true. So true. But they're smiling with us. They are. I always talk to him every night. Every night I talk to all my friends. Hi, double a typo intentional to avoid shadow banning of that comment. Wow. Okay. Connie B. Siren is from Greek mythology. Wow. Now, Alligator says mermaid is serene in French. Okay. And Connie B says, I have dreams that we are together and having fun, and I'm so excited only to wake up to reality. I so hope we can patch things up. You can, just change your reality. It's like, don't wake up and think, oh, wait, they're not here. No, it's another day. And, what should I do today? Let me think. Just, I took a mother who had never seen her grandchildren, and she came here. And I said, you know what? I know your son. We are going to go see him. And so we went really close to his house. And then I said, look, I'm just going to stay in a coffee shop and you go and talk to him. Because I think if I go with you, he won't be able to. And sure enough, he let her in and she got to meet her grandchildren. And, it was a good day. So it's kind of like my thing is never give up, because, why? Even if your heart hurts, okay. Figure out some things to make it happy, so you're happy and it's okay. It's like an adventure. You know what I mean? Think of it as an adventure instead of something where, you're going to get hurt by it. No, it's an adventure. I'm a new person. I'm different and I want to talk to you. You're part of my life, whether you know it or not. That's what's happening. I'll get the Reckless Ben doc link to you. Thank you, Gurora. I appreciate that. Doug absolutely adored Tori. He is definitely missed. I know. He was good. He was a good spokesperson, too. He would have loved all this. Don't you think? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Allie. My daughter was looking at one of my old cups that she gave me, and she said the name, and I had never heard that before. Yeah, exactly. It's been good company for her to work. The benefits are good, and it's a pretty easy job. She does not want to be a manager or anything. She's happy just being behind the bar. There you go. Good. And she probably gets to meet some nice people, too. And Sophie says, Connie, she's sorry about that. She understands. And she has regulars, who come through with their dogs, and she takes their picture to show me. Oh, that's so cute. Thanks, Sophie. I think about picking the phone up every day, but again, I'm scared he won't pick up and it'll hurt me all over again. Well, I think you have to do what's good for you too. If it's too painful, then take a break. But I do think you should plan on at some point reconnecting with them. And that's just me, but that's where I am. Members, what do you want to ask Tori? Yeah. Or what do you want to do? Do you want me to make a special video for the members only? And what would it be about? Yeah. Yes, Tori, you would like my daughter. She's good people. I know. Gurroar, well, I smoked a bit of pot, so I look pink. It looked pink to me tonight. Yes, you lovely hair. Yeah, I can get it. I get it. And especially if you smoked a little pot, it could look all kinds of different colors. Okay. Yeah, pot's stronger, that's for sure, than it was back in the day. Yeah, I don't like it as much. I tried it once and I was like, no, this isn't fun. And Sophie says she's more scared my dad will answer, but it's a similar position we're in. Okay, do what is best for you to protect your mental health and yourself from more harm is okay. Yeah, you gotta take care of yourself. It's like what they say on the airplanes, put the oxygen on you first. And it's like if it's okay to do something, try it. If it isn't, don't. I'm sorry that you're going through that too, Sophie. I feel your pain. Yeah. Alligators. Connie B, you are right with the pot. They used to smoke the leaves, not the flowers like now. Oh, okay. No, Tori, he is very effeminate. People ask me all the time if he's gay upon meeting him. Okay. Sophie, Connie, thank you. I'm okay with it. I don't hold hate or pain in my heart. I love him, just can't talk to him. That happens. Oh, Tori, his site is up and the web archive has unlocked their copy of it. Okay, his site is up. I think you mean you're talking about Reckless Ben, right? And the web archive has unlocked their copy of it. Okay. We have a friend who goes in his house and you can smell it. I know. All right, so Sophie, I hope there are parties going on and have been too, Tori. Me too. I think that would be very fun. Even Mike Rinder's blog is still up. I think both must be hosted in the cloud. Yeah. Thanks, Tori. I wonder if he dreams about me too. It's so sad. Well, it is, but I try to remind people to be grateful of the amount of good memories. I mean, if it's sad, you must have had good memories with him at some point. So try to recognize those memories and try to validate that and try to be thankful for those memories that you have of him from when things were good. And if they were never good, then that's a shame. But I hope if you're sad, I kind of think you probably at some point, even if it was a little while, you probably had some good times together. Tori always has such good advice. Thank you, Sophie. You too. He's my first cousin, but I'm the only child, and he spent a lot of time at my home growing up. He would spend 2 weeks at a time, and we stayed close. He peed me off one day, and I went off on him, which I have never done. I apologized immediately, but he went stiff and would not look at me. I told him to F himself and slammed his car door real hard and left. I called twice and he never picked up. Well, that's something for both of you to just give a little time and then start again. I think you can do it. I do. It doesn't sound like it's that bad. Alligator, as a mother, my heart aches because of my daughter. She's at the point in her life where she feels too good for speaking to her mother. Last time I spoke to her was 2 years ago. Oh, Allie, no. You got to send me your phone number. I'll call her. I'll talk to her. It's like, come on. No. She needs to talk to you. That's a short version of what happened. And here's another heartbreak. Connie's heart is breaking for Allie. My daughter and I have had a contentious relationship, but for the past few years, she has really tried hard to spend one day a week with us. I hope things get better. Yeah, that's the thing. They can always change. For you, Allie. Yeah. Your mother, I feel the same. But as a child, I guess I feel different in my situation. Your daughter will come back and you will be talking again, and we all need our moms. Yeah, my aunt pointed that out to me. She said, you haven't had a mom for most of your adult life. And I said, really? Because I had, but once my dad died, she was gone. She married the con man and he turned her into an alcoholic, and she was just a mess after that. And I never really realized that. I said, you're right. You're really right. But, as you hear me, I talk about the times that are the good times, and the rest of it, yeah. I'm glad I was able to help her take off, because she was passing away and I was there, and she had dementia. And I said, Mom, you're going on an adventure. That's what's happening. Because she was like, what's happening? And I said, well, you're going on an adventure. This one's different. This is very new. And she said, well, where am I going? And I said, I don't know, but I know that you lived a really good life. So I know you're going to go somewhere cool. So don't worry about it. Just there'll be some angels or spirits or friends that'll come along and help you on your way. You'll be okay. I think that's what happens. I do. All right. Might be some LSD in that pot if Tori's hair is turning multiple colors. No, he didn't say multiple. He just said pink. And some people do think purple is pink. Yeah, so no, I don't think so. Okay. I think it's rude to ask if someone is gay. Like, do you ask, are you heterosexual? Yeah, it's kind of like, here, there's so many people that are gay, it's just part of life. So I would never ask them that. They'll let you know. I was talking about the Xenu site. Yeah. Xenu.net. Yeah, I have it on here. See, look, if you look under the banners, here it is. Boink. That's Andreas's site. I will always have it up as long as I am alive, in honor of him. Okay. I'm a bit of a fag hag myself. I don't know if that's an acceptable term in America. I've heard it before, but I haven't heard it much, but that's funny. Totally. All right, you guys. Well, we've been on for 2 hours, so I think I'm going to say goodnight. But do you have any questions or anything you want to ask before we end off? And I want to thank all of you for coming, and thank you, Sophie, for being the moderator. Really appreciate it. It's a widely used term here. Wow. I like it. I do. See you all. Bye, Arrow 23. Good stream, Tori. Thank you, Connie B. Thank you for staying and sharing your story with us. You had a good time. Good. Good. I'm glad. Have a wonderful weekend. That's right. It's the weekend. Woohoo. All right. Good, you guys. You have a wonderful weekend too. Take care of yourselves and each other. All right. And then I'm going to be back on Sunday. What is today? Today's Friday. Yeah. So Sunday at 10:30. I'm going to be on doing the Q&A. So think if you have any questions, because that's a good time. I'm just going to be here and you can ask me questions. There you go. Have a fun weekend. I love you guys. I really appreciate you coming on. All right. Take care. Peace out. All right. Wait. Oop. I forgot. I forgot. I got to end the stream.